Hello, it is Lord Haywire. I am streaming some 2D 4X today, which I do most weekends. 2D 4X is an open source, post-apocalyptic 2D 4X game that I'm making in Godot with a C# uh, version of Godot. We're on 4.4 Dev 5. There's a new version of Godot. It's 4.4 beta 1, but I'm waiting because they have like a new, like your game is embedded in like a window, and I have many questions about that, and I don't know the answer, and if I Google the questions, nothing comes up because it's so new, and so I feel like I gotta wait until I'm clicking over here on things. This thing that I have to start every time I start streaming really throws off my introduction. I gotta like be able to like have two brains that do things. Anyways, or figure out how to just do it better. So the past 2-3 weeks, we've been working on getting it so that heroes do better things. That we have this whole list of hero things. I don't think we're gonna. I've changed how I do things. Before I was doing it with these like big branches where we would hit all of like things on the list. Like some of these are quite long, and then we would merge the branch to main. And I think it looks on GitHub, it looks like the project is dead. If I like this is GitHub, but let's open up another window. I think it looks like if you look at the main here, people just glance at this and they're like, oh, he hasn't done anything for 3 weeks. But if you go to the other branch, we're on hero activities here, you'll see that there was stuff, from yesterday. But I don't think people do that. So instead of having these big it says right here that I did something. Remove the cheat. So weird. That's a weird thing that I wrote there. Anyways, I think people don't think that anything is happening on the project unless it's on the main. It's on the main branch. So what I decided to do, instead of having these big, long 4-month, 5-month long branches that it takes me that long to push to main, I'm kind of breaking them into smaller pieces. So what we're working on right now is this project here. This is a project that everyone can see. It's open. So it's happiness with an I think it's with an I. So what we're working on is this part now, but we're only going to do part of it, then we're going to push to main, then we're going to do the next part, and we're going to push to main, and then we're going to move to saving and loading, which is going to be quite painful at the beginning. So that'll be interesting, getting saving and loading to work. I already know what we need. Here's something we can add on to this part of escape opens options menu. And that's going to be in the main thing that we're going to do that. We're going to have that as an issue here. So, but we'll tackle that, and we're kind of kicking a bunch of changes that I've made that are breaking things in research. We're kicking them down to this. So once we do this, we're going to go to saving and loading, and then we're going to fix all the things that we're causing here. But right now, what we are doing is, if we hit play here, I always got to wait a little bit. What does that say? Safe save. This may be a permissions problem because you're running a paranoid antivirus. I've never seen that before. I'm running Windows Defender. I guess I'm running, what is that thing called? Malwarebytes too. Anyways, so what we did yesterday is we made it so that these buttons don't appear if you don't have these options, like they're disabled. And I had a lot of thoughts about maybe not breaking. So currently there's 2 different types of heroes. There's basically non-violent heroes, and then there's the army leaders. And I was thinking like maybe we just get rid of that. I can't decide still. We can still do other things in the process. While I decide, I'm leaning towards not having 2 different types because we're going to do like raiding and whatnot. But we can kick that decision because it's kind of like a lot of work that we would have to do that we may have to change back. So that's the plan, is to let that thought dwell for a while in my mind. But right now, these 2 things we don't they're just going to sit there. But what we want to do is get this to work where there actually does something. So right now you can click on, whoops, you got to be very close to that. You can click on that and it changes this person, Kathleen Smith, here to scavenge. And that's what we're doing, but scavenging works, but these other two things, or these two things don't work. This one's busted because we have to update the research thing. And then this is one of the main things reasons we're doing this is with this explore concept. So we'll once we get exploring working, then we'll push to main. There is something, so on this page, not that page, on this page, I want to put like an inventory. There's going to be two things on this page that we don't have currently. And we might like move this around. We probably like this loyalty, like as I add things to this guy's name is David King. Wasn't that someone's name yesterday? As I've been adding stuff, I've been slowly adjusting how this looks. I mean, all of this is temporary UI. It's just for functionality. One day we'll do a beautification process. But anyways, we're going to need two inventories basically on here. One's going to be, one inventory and then one like a list of the troops that are with this army or leader. I don't know how we're going to do that. Maybe we'll have another window that you open to look at their troops, and it will have like some information like some base information like their average morale, whatever. In here, average rifle skill. I think I'm going to change it from rifle to like ranged combat or something though. Currently the skill is called rifle, but I think it might be better if it's like ranged or something. Anyways, for right now, we got to make these two things work. And what the problem is, it's not a problem. It's just that we haven't done it yet. The main thing that we got to do here today is when at the end of day, so when you checkbox one of these, we can't do it right now because we don't have anything built, but when we checkbox one of these, the workday is over. This is for heroes. We can tell because this is the heroes, and this is heroes. That's what I call these people. They're heroes, like from Heroes of Might and Magic. Workday over for population. It goes through this. It checks their activity. And build is the first one we want to get to work. And there's the problem I think we're running into was, I actually can't remember what the problem was. Oh, right. I didn't put this. I swear I put a thing in. An issue in. Here, it's right here. I didn't move it to the top. This is what we're doing. When the player selects build via the activity box, it needs to assign the building. So what we're going to need a little method, because right now it bugs out, it airs out because everyone else gets a building at the beginning of the day. All the AI people get a building at the beginning of the day, but the heroes are controlled by the player. It's like one of the player doesn't control just every single person in the county. They just control the heroes, and it's one of the ways to like have more things to do is hire more heroes, blah blah blah. So, and not all control, like not all things that the heroes do will be under the player's control. Like for example, when we hit build here, this wasn't what I was thinking of, but this is an example. We don't pick what building they're going to build. So if there's two buildings, they're going to be in the they just put themselves in the build queue basically. Which are they going to do that? They aren't. We're going to have to fix or do that as well. But first things first, when we click that building, when we click that button, we have a switch somewhere, which I got to remember where everything is from yesterday and close some of these things. Population description control. I don't think we're going to get that to that today. Maybe we will. All right, so here's our little, I think we have a switch in here. Yeah, so it's right here. So on work, let's do build first. So on build, is that the same order? I feel like that's, yeah, build is second. which is kind of weird now that I think about it because you're going to build first. But let's not worry about it right now. So it's going to update their activity. Then we also need it to assign building, county improvement. I don't think I already have this written in a way. Maybe I do. Let's see. We'll leave this here for a second. There was something I was looking at yesterday. It was county data. I don't see it. It's not open for some reason. Let's look back to our start of day, which happens after end of day. Like, what does this do? Yeah, this is under county data. Get prioritized workers list, check for prioritized improvements, check for prioritized improvements twice. Okay, so this is under construction. It looks like it checks this list. And it looks like I built this so that it check if status low stockpile goods. So it makes sure that the prioritize, it does this one for prioritized stuff too. I guess it's important. Is false. Oh, right, because they don't have enough stock. If they don't have enough stockpiled stuff, prioritize doesn't apply. So each county improvement stockpile stuff like that they need to build things, like wood for whatever, or look at this. I know this is like a chat GPT summarizing, and I never can tell what this stuff means. I'm not familiar enough with like these question marks and things, so I always have to like ask again what it means. So this is assigning them though, and so we're well. But what does this run twice? I'm trying to see if there's a way we can do this easier without actually having to write a bunch of code. So we might be able to like hit the county data multiple times. We're going to have to put in, I'm going to put this note in before I forget. When a hero is set to remove their current county improvements. We have to do that. Move this to the top. All right. Oh man, I'm trying not to say okay, all right. I'm trying to take those out of like it's just some amateur shit. But I've been doing this for like 2 years, and I still have that. It goes away for a while, then it comes back. You know, like I stop saying it, and then I'm back again. So what we need to do is more. Look at this. This is like crazy. Remove them from the possible workers list. We might have to write this again, but I don't want to. I don't want to write this again. So I don't think we clear the list of people people at or population at count or at improvement. I don't think we clear that list ever unless people are like unless we deliberately are doing like I don't think there's any set randomness to that. This needs to be over here. Yeah, I don't know how that got unpinned. So the first thing we got to do is if we run this, where does it, is it checking get prioritized worker list? This is the thing. So this is checking here. So when we set that, it's adding them to this possible worker list. Okay, so here we go. So what we should do instead, how did I do this? Where was this thing? Okay, so what we should do instead is basically I was trying to think if there's a better way to do this with like break this into smaller parts, but I actually think this might work. So when we click this button, we're going to, this is under county data, go back to here. We're going to generate a new one of these. We're going to, do we have a county data? The population data is here. I don't know if, I think the location is, where the fuck did my thing that I just generated go? Here we go. No, I did it again. So I don't think we have a county data here. No, we have a location. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We need a county data to start with. County data. I mean, I guess we could do, no, we can't do it that way. So we need a county data equals globals instance county's parent get child population data location. So it's like an ID is what that is. And then this though actually is going to be, we need to cast this as a county because this returns a county. And then I think, can we just get county data from here? No, we need to do this in 2 steps. This is going to come back as a county. And then, so let's copy this, or I guess cut it. And we'll do county equals this. And then this, whoops, we got 2 equals in there. And then this is going to equal county data. I'm surprised we can't do this with a county data, but I guess we can't. So now we have a county data, so then we need to run in the county data. We have that get prioritized something, prioritized, assign people to prioritize improvement. Is that what we wanted? This is one of the things, but we actually want to get this. We don't want this. And while I'm thinking about this, where the fuck was that hero panel? We want, I'm going to put some notes in what we're going to do. Add hero to possible workers list. Then we need to check for prioritized building. Check for no, this is assign. This is assign build. Assign building county improvement. Check for prioritized building. And that's building as in building, no period at the end. All right, so this isn't actually going to work. We need to pull a part of this. So, and this looks like this. Check for prioritized improvements is what we need, and this is private, so it looks like we need to make this public. And then we'll jump back over to our thing right here. I guess I could have just used this air. A lot of times I leave a little air down here so I can just jump to it. We want check for prioritized improvement. And where you need to pass in a list, though. we can't pass in a list because we don't. I mean, we could pass in a list from the county data, but we actually just need to pass in this one. This is an array of county improvements. Oh no, okay, so we can do this. The array of is county data under construction county improvements. So that's going to pass in this thing. This is, but before we do that, we need to add them to the county data as possible, which is probably also, let's put this in county data. Whoops. Let's not just manually add it in here. Let's go, it doesn't really matter. We're going to do a public void add population data to possible workers list. I like names long. We're going to need to pass in a count or a population data here. Population data. And then we're going to go possible workers, add population data. There we go. Hopefully I haven't already written one of those and I just rewrote it for no apparent reason. Then back to here, we're going to go add, and then we're going to put this population. So this is the hero. The hero is going to be added into this possible workers list because I noticed that here is, it's looking at that list somewhere. Okay, take that back. It is not looking at that list anywhere. So it's going to go through these. If it's got enough stockpile, if it's under construction, if prioritize equals true, and county improvements. So we actually need to do this differently. Okay. We don't actually do anything with the county or the population data because they're already on that possible workers list, which is kind of interesting. We do it here though, I think. Okay, so I was wrong. I was wrong about all that. Assign possible workers to building a county improvement, remove them from the possible workers list. So it seems to me we just need to add him. We're going to have to do a lot of testing here. It seems to me that we're just going to have to add them, and then it should actually... The problem is it said I wrote it so that it's going to do a check for both work and build. Maybe we take off that option for the player, and so when they click work, it will put them in build or work. But I was trying to make it so you could prioritize work. So if you have a bunch of, build. If you have a bunch of stuff being built, you could say have the hero build. But it sets them in. That would reduce the number of checkboxes we have for the player over here. So we would get rid of one of these, and it would just be build and work or something. And then they would be put into the queue to do both of those things. And that's already the player already controls that with like prioritize buttons and stuff. So maybe that's the better way to do it. And then that would actually kick off these things correctly. My question to my brain is it going to know to boot someone off if there's people already working there? Let's see what happens when we do it. So for build, what the fuck is this? Why is it doing this today? Didn't do this yesterday. Let's restart this. It gave us that weird error at the beginning too. I wonder if there's like, no, I restarted my computer before I started streaming. I have this weird copy because I was testing the new whatchamacallit, the new Godot last week. I didn't get the error this time. So let's run this. I wonder if it knows. Yeah, it does. I just saw something change over here. So we need to build something first. And then now we have this build button. Let's click that. It should have added him. And I thought there was a GD print. Oh no, this is it. I changed what we were doing. So let's go over here, and I should have put a GD print in here, but we'll see what happens now. So at 3 a.m. is when everything kicks off. I guess we don't need to speed it up. So 1 o'clock, one thing happens. 2 o'clock, nothing happens. And then 3, well, in this instance, nothing happens. So he was added. He's, oh man, I forgot we had to fix this. Add what he's being built, what's being built. See, that's why I put an issue in for everything. Add what is being built to heroes info, to hero in population list and activity. No, that's a, and description panel. And we'll convert you. Move to the top. All right, so the thing I was talking about, this should say build garden 1 or whatever. But it doesn't know until, and this should say it too, till 3 a.m. But how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's only 5 people, so something did not work there. Now we have 5 people here. So just adding them to the list isn't good enough. Let's go back over. I was hoping, just like fingers crossed, that would do the trick, which I was not not very hopeful. So we add them to the list, assign, so it's going to go down through here, get prioritized workers list. What does this do? So this is just checking, but it's adding them to this possible workers list. So there should be let's do this. At the end of this thing, we're going to go GD print. We got to do for each. For each population data in actually, that's exactly what we want. And then we're going to say if population data, because I'm trying to narrow this down, is hero, then we GD print let's do a $sign. Let's do this. Let's do population data name, first name is a hero, and in the possible workers list. I'm not sure. I think we're clearing the possible workers list at some point, and I think that's what's screwing me here. So let's rerun this. I think I saved that, didn't I? Yep. This is why I guess you make little methods for everything, is so that you can throw debugging, GD prints into every method. All right. Oh, I did the all right thing. So we're going to go to here. We're going to construct this. We're going to click build. That's nothing. What is this person's name? Jonathan? That doesn't apply here just yet. And wonder whether these removed from things are. What is, I've noticed that yesterday too. Is that not what this says? Removed from? Removed from county improvement. Wonder why we were doing that. I think I vaguely remember like throwing one of those in there just because it was causing. This is Ryan Barber. I wonder who these people are. This is probably some AI shit. Let's look here. This is Ryan. That's not enough people though. Oh, it's probably removing them first and then adding them in, but we still have the problem. This should only be 5. So this is being at the end of this, not that. At the end of this, wherever the fuck it went. Let's go back to our, let's go right here. No, let's go this way. Assign people to prioritize improvements. We have this. We get prioritize workers list. So check for prioritize improvements here. I must be missing where it's looking if the status is under construction. Nothing was prioritized though. We didn't have any prioritized checks. But even then, it still should. I wonder if there's an easier way to do this. Instead of using the existing thing, it makes me worried too that that's removing those people now ahead of time because it's going to remove the hero, even though, well, he wasn't assigned because he's not it's not prioritized. Let's go. This is going to be more of a pain than I thought because of how I wrote it. Check for preferred work. Like, what does this do? Yeah, it's looking at possible workers, which we added him. I'm wondering, like I said, if we are clear. Here it is. Here's the problem. So we clear the possible workers list here, which at the time it worked, but we don't want to do that. So this is happening and it's clearing the hero out. So if we don't do this though, the next day, so how are we going to do, how can we do this? So we need like a hero. Okay, so there's a way we can, so then if this happens here, we're doing it again, or we're doing it here too? Why has this ever worked? Get prioritized workers list. Oh, we're hitting this possible workers thing twice. So we're jittering this list twice. I wonder why I decided to do that. There's probably some reasoning behind it. So we make the prioritized, or the possible workers list here. But we're using the same list. Because there's another way we could do this. We can clear this at the end of day or whatever. I wonder why I did this twice. Like it seems like this should be at the top. And then this should be just use. See, here's get our list. This is the thing. It's the same as the other one. In fact, this should just be a method. In fact, I think I made that a method. I feel like I made that like people willing to work or something. Check will work loyalty. Maybe not. So let's go back to this. Find idle. What we can do is we can clear this. We can put this at the end. And what we'll do, was this already a method? No, I was just straight clearing it. Let's go private void clear possible workers list. And whoops. Then we'll do put this in here. I forgot something. And K and D that, which seems to be fine. Then we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll go back to here. We'll go. I wonder if we're like resetting these possible workers list all the time. We'll just put this at the very end. Why can't we access that? Oh, because we're in county. I was thinking we were in county data. This needs to be public. I was going to say static, but no. Clear. I have a feeling we're going to want this before this. Let's do one more thing here. Let's see. Let's search for. I'm really getting it, and everything's just a little method. I don't know if that's right. I feel like it's right. Well, except for like this garbage. Where did I just put that thing? All right, we want to search for this. I want to see if I'm doing this whole thing. I want to search for this whole thing. Anywhere else. Okay, so I'm only doing it in this one place now. So I think that feels right. It feels better that we're having that its own thing. So what we'll do is run it. We're going to get all sorts of errors. It's going to be like, what the fuck? Because then we'll have that set list for the whole. We won't have to do it twice. Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to have other problems, but let's just run this and see what the other problems are this way. I was about to spawn him. So we have him now on build. We might get rid of the distinction between build and... We didn't get any bugs. Oh, look at that. It actually put the Garden 1 on there for him. So that wasn't a bug. It was just they didn't have a Garden 1 assigned. There's only 3 people assigned to this, though. So what's the problem? And it says there's only 3 people here. So something's breaking along the way, but what is it? Let's take a look at some of these populations. So you have... Nothing was prioritized, so we know it's not that. Do you have... your preferred work is construction. I'm wondering if it's only giving people with that preferred work. No, yours is production. Yours is build. Oh, we have another problem though. At the end of the day, it's gonna clear the hero out. So we can't do that actually. Because if it clears the hero out of that population list, I'm deep thought here. So I think what we need to do when you click the button, the idea was we would have it assign the building that they're working on right then, but that's going to fuck everything up. It should say build, but it won't have anything assigned to it until the morning. So we do need them in the possible workers list, but we need them to be picked. So we need them to like check their activity. It should go through the list at the beginning of the day. So what I mean is, when you click that build button, it should go through the list at the beginning of the day, and it should assign them, like it should put them in on its own. Why does this thing work? I bet you people are in here twice too, because they're getting added here. Wonder what's different about this. Like why we didn't just do this possible workers list once. Because if they're a possible worker, let's look. Find idle population. Okay, I see the difference. The difference is, oh, this happens. Yeah. The difference is that it's going to take people who aren't idle. So it's going to assign people regardless of what they're doing to prioritize stuff. So let's think about how this works. You set... We're going to have to rewrite some of this to make it better, which is why I do these in little chunks, because we run into stuff and I didn't think ahead enough. All right. So, oh man, I did the all right thing again. Get all the people who are helpful and loyal for construction, for prioritize construction and work. So this makes a list. It's getting a, I'm not sure why there's only 3 people assigned there. We'll figure that out as we go. So the hero, once again, we're back to how we need this to work. So let's make it so that when we assign the activity, that's all it does. It's just going to assign the activity for the, well, it could also, so I'm trying to think. So let's go back to this other thing. Wherever that clear, the clear thing. Good God, where the fuck is it? Clear. We have a lot of stuff in here. Clear possible workers list. So I think what we got to do, can you do like a skip? So I think what we have to do is we have to go through the list and manually delete each one. And then we say, if this is a hero, don't delete him. Or, no, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is at the start of day, we'll do end of day, work day is over. So at the start of day, we're going to have assign heroes. We'll do like county data. We'll call it assign heroes to work. Assign working heroes. So we'll generate this one. No. Then we'll go over to here. It always does this internal thing, and I don't know what that is. My C# knowledge is not high enough. High enough? Good enough. For each hero, population data, population data, population data, population data in pop you heroes in county list. We're going to, you motherfucker. Uh, if their activity, I think we will get rid of that one checkbox, and it will just be build or work. And then, because we already have it like kind of prioritized. Because otherwise, we're going to have to really do some major changes to how the game thinks. For each one of these, if population data activity is equal to all enums build, build, or we can make a third active or new activity. Wonder if that's gonna fuck up a bunch of stuff. So what I'm thinking, if we do a new activity that's like, because so there is a difference. It's but it will fuck up a bunch of stuff. So if we have these two different things, it's gonna get pulled. It's gonna get confused when it's gonna change what it is, and it will confuse the player. So if we say that there's build, if the worker is building, we could just use work. So what it would say, Suki, how's it going? We could say work, so the player clicks work, and then it will, in this activities thing, it's gonna just say work here, and then it will reset once it hits the thing. I think that's what we gotta do. So when you check that box, let's change this temporarily. We'll fix it in a second. I need to set it so that it does what we want it to do. So this is gonna go to work regardless, and then this is gonna go here. I'm doing good. I am feel like I'm making progress. I don't know. Last weekend I did a little bit, and then this weekend I worked on like the same stuff. So I guess somewhat progress. How are you doing with your project? You have a project, right? I can never remember. I know we've talked a bunch of times. We were talking about French and stuff, right? I can never remember the people who have projects and not. Okay, what is this thing's problem? Yes, because I haven't assign working heroes. Yeah, I was halfway through here. Halfway through. All right, so if this equals work, if the hero equals work, then we go possible workers. Oh, we wrote that thing. Add. So we'll add them in there. What type of battle systems are you doing? Like turn-based, real-time battle systems, roles, RNG. Let's put what their name is. Is it a separate thing? You know, does it go to a separate battlefield, like, you know, Total War or something? Add population data to a possible workers list. Yeah, it's like writing two games. I'm always amazed when I run into these like indie developers who have like 2 or 3 games all in one game. You know what I mean? Like they have their, just for, I'm just making some shit up here, but they'll have like their strategic level, and then it's another game is their tactical level. Then they have like another game which is like the building game or something. It's intense that they set them up so many games inside one game. So we're going to do some squigs here, population data, first name has been added. has been added to the possible workers list. Assign working heroes. So they'll click work. That's, yeah. So I actually, interestingly, not, I guess not that interesting, but in this, I'm having it built in, but I do one day want to kind of work on like another game that's real-time combat and stuff that would work with this as well. I don't know. It's like, it's so much work. Like, it'd be like DLC, but I wouldn't charge for it. But I don't know. I always hear like these stories of developers, and I was talking about this yesterday, that release free games and everyone thinks it's shovelware, so they don't do it, or so they don't get any activity. But this Field of Glory, what's the other part of the game? Field of Glory Kingdoms, Field of Glory 2 Medieval. No, there's another. Anyways, there's a strategy game where when you run it, when you get into a battle, you can do like the auto resolve, and if you say no, it actually opens up this other game that they made, and then you do the battles in there. It's kind of cool. When I bought the strategic level, you can get the other game for like $5 or something, but now that they it's like $30 or some shit, and that doesn't seem very ethical to me. You want to play the full game? Buy this other game. But it's their Slytherin thing, I'm pretty sure. Slytherin's just notoriously shitty for their ethical shit. Is they don't have any ethics. Slytherin they're just money grubbing pieces of shit. And I tried never to buy their games, and obviously I bought that one. What's the thing? FOMO? I had FOMO. No, I just really wanted to play the game, which I guess is the same thing. All right, let's see if this shit works. I don't want to get too sidetracked. I keep getting sidetracked. It's not chat's fault. It's my fault. That's what I'm rambling on about. Fields of Glory Kingdoms. It is Fields of Glory Kingdoms is the game, and then is the strategic level. The other thing is something else. We need to build this. And then we can click this. Remember, this is set them to work, even though it's a build thing. All right, we got a debug thing. This is where you think there's a problem? That's strange. $5 range. Is it because you want to avoid that like free game shovelware thing, or just $5 is what you feel? I think you told me that before too. All right, so it says that there's object reference not to set to an instance of an object. Check enough goods. So in County 69. That's not this. Population work 28. Yeah. I feel like there is definitely like I was looking at Steam like lists of strategic games, and I definitely get kind of like a weird feeling about free games these days, which is weird. But Steam, so you put it for $5 and Steam's taking 30%, which I feel like is kind of intense. But I mean, what are your choices? Not have it on Steam? If you don't have it on Steam, then what happens? Like even roguelikes, where you can go to their website and download it for free. They have like the Steam version, which is, it just costs you money, so you can have it in Steam. Steam is kind of taken over. I have a feeling what's happening here is this is we're not getting a county improvement assigned for somebody and it's the hero. That is saying that it's somebody's assigned. I'm weirded out that we're only getting 3 of these again. Let's double check that the garden is 5. It is. So let's go back to, I think it's just something I did here. So we assigned the workers to possible workers. Let's go down this. So if he's assigned to work, which is what we changed the thing, we can actually check to make sure that this, let's get rid of this assign max storage to goods thing. Assign max storage to goods. It's probably right in there. We don't need this shit filling up our logs here. So there's that. Initial county storage. End of day. We could probably get rid of that too. Though it is useful sometimes. But this is for some other, we changed around how some things worked. Okay, I gotta skip this song that you guys cannot hear. It's bad. Southern Loop Summer? You're bad. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Lord Mac, how's it going, by the way? Isn't that weird that that's become a thing now? Or they think like you're gonna have like in-game charges, which we've joked about. To be able to move an army, you have to pay $1 per county you go to. Let's run this without the. I'm curious without the hero assign anything and just see what happens. So that isn't the problem. Exactly. Yeah, would do that. Wasn't the EA guy who had the idea that you would charge for like reloading your gun, or that you would pay? Let's do a county improvement, but once again, not assign here. I'm curious if changing that possible workers list thing caused issues with everyone. So it doesn't look like it did. We should. Nobody. Oh, that says 10 in there. We're only getting 3. Oh, I swear it said 5 earlier. Oh, that was for construction. Yeah. So I think we got that thing like kind of broke. Yeah, it did. It kind of broke the whole thing when we did that change. So that's okay. We just got to figure out how to make it work. War Thunder flashbacks? I've played a ton of War Thunder. Did they change it where you have to pay for ammo? Oh, you're talking about, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So you get, like, I always, that one I keep checked in War Thunder. So you get your fake money is gone, but I don't check the repair button because it's too expensive. And I just have a bazillion different factions that I play. So like I'll play, let's say we're talking about planes. I'll play around as Russia. When all my planes get destroyed, I'll move to a different faction and let those guys sit for the 2 hours or whatever to repair. And then those guys die. And it's like if you want to like grind one faction, it's nearly impossible unless you want to use your fake money. But then one of the ways you can get fake money is to pay real money. And then it's like, okay, so it's definitely pay to win. Yeah, War Thunder is 100%. I don't think there's even an argument about that War Thunder is not pay to win. Because you can also just straight up buy better planes. Stickle Wings, how's it going? Tier 4, is that high or low? I don't remember. I haven't logged in at War Thunder in forever. Well, not forever. I played like a couple of tank rounds, like a couple months ago. So I think that's crazy, the pay to progress thing. I've been hearing that a lot lately, and it's this weird double speak I'm gonna use the 1984. It's double speak. Pay to progress is pay to win. It's they're just they don't want to they don't so there's this huge thing like I don't want to admit that a game is pay to win. War Thunder is 100% pay to win. Uh, the development's going good except I don't think I have War Thunder installed. I don't want to start it on this computer either. I wonder if it says right on their website that what I wanted to see was if there was a list of War Thunder list of American planes. This is not what I want. I mean, this would work, but I don't know the name of the plane. So there's a particular plane. I think it's an American. It might be an English plane actually. It's a premium plane. Anyway, long story short, so because I've never paid any money for War Thunder, and because I've been playing War Thunder since 1947, they gave me some free premium plane, and it's like so and so's plane, and holy shit, man, you just annihilate people with it. It's like it's so unfair. And whenever I'm playing without and I'm not flying that plane and I see one of them, I'm like, oh no, no, get away from it. If you look at the top leader, somebody's flying that plane, they're always like the top of the leaderboard and stuff. They have 450 kills and everyone else has like 3. You know, it's like it's 100%. You can just buy it with real money if you want. Uh, it's same with the tanks too. I call them cheaters. They're not cheating. But when you're playing against tanks, you can see these certain tanks that were purchased. They have certain camouflage or trees and on them. You may be able to grind for this stuff, but I'm pretty sure you have to pay only. And those guys are always same thing, top of the leaderboard. They've paid so much money for these invincible tanks. You're like, the whole team is sitting around encircled this tank, just shooting it over and over again, and it just sits there, you know, without any damage. And oh, that's the pay to win tank. I'm exaggerating, obviously. It's not that bad, but it's still they're always at the top of the leaderboard. Uh, there's no in gold. The end goal is to crush the noobs. That's their end goal. Yeah. So Lord Mac, I think it's the tree camo that you have to pay for. I think you can get normal camo by grinding, but the tree where it like has a tree strapped to the front of your tank, I think you have to pay for that. So whenever I see those people, I'm just like, fuck you guys. And you know, the cure for all of this is just match make the pay to win people with each other. But the problem is they're paying to stop the noobs, you know. that's their goal is they're not even paying to win. They're just paying to stop the other players. Like they don't even care about winning, some of them. So you know what's weird is so this is back to like extraction shooters is a lot of times like cheaters, there's a lot of cheaters and there's a lot of cheaters or people doing shady shit. And streamers is actually another crazy thing. So this is an on. So basically, the cheaters are paying to win, right? Because they pay for these cheats. They aren't free. I mean, there are some cheats that are free, I guess, but you actually can go to a website and pay $80 to buy a cheat, you know, for Arena Breakout or Tarkov or whatever. So they're actually paying to do that, and they're generally not very good players. Like you die and you're like, what was that guy doing? Like, because he has like a Arena Breakout has like a kill cam, and then you look at his stats, and their stats are actually usually pretty bad. Like they have like tons of kills or whatever, but their other stats are bad, and it's like almost like they are compensating for their shittiness. And I'm not like, oh, skill issue. I'm not one of the, because in all the extract shooters, everyone's like, if you have any issue with anything, they're like, oh, it's a skill issue, which is like so fucking stupid. But yeah, it's weird how the people who suck are cheating. It's very strange. And I think a lot of those people, they just stomp their idea of fun is just making other people lose their, upsetting other people. Kind of like Republicans. Like their whole deal is just to upset people. And it doesn't necessarily, they're not accomplishing anything except supposedly hurting people's feelings, while their feelings are also hurt all the time. Uh, okay, what are we doing here? We got a problem. We just did our test. Our test is that we ran this and no one's getting a sign now. So what did I change to go through this list? Because we need to kind of dramatically change this. Because the hero, what time is it? Maybe I'll take a quick break. Because adding the hero when we when we say yes and it adds them to the county thing, I think it's going to be kind of a pain. So if you set the hero on work, I think it's going to be a pain and kind of throw off the whole game. So what we need to do is have it just like put them in the queue of these things getting hit. And we're actually have this in here. All right, let me go take a break and I'll be back in less than 5 minutes. And I will try to think about this while I'm outside smoking. I got to put up my break timer. All right, I'll be right back. All right, I was thinking while I was outside. I think the issue is going to be this when and where we clear this possible uh, workers list. I think that's going to be the main problem that we're going to have to figure out where that goes, and I think it should go in a different spot than I had it originally. My break timer's off. Yep. Okay, so end of day comes first, and we generate all this stuff, and then start. Oh, do we start a day happens after that, and it clears the list. So maybe this is in the right spot. Let's make sure that this works how I. Yep, it's just as simple. At the start of each county. So we're gonna have a blank list of possible workers. Let's search for this one more time. It's only there. Let's go inside here one more time and let's search for this. That's a whole different thing. So, all right. So that's the only spots where that is. So that should be. So then let's go through like as the game goes down. It's end of day is first, so it's going to go down. It's going to decide building. So the first day, 1 o'clock is when this fires off. 1 a.m. It shouldn't actually do anything because there's nobody's assigned to anything. So the first day, none of this should happen because there's nobody assigned to the possible workers list. But there could be if we put a hero in. So we got to figure that out. But that's later. So then it's going to go down through this, and it's going to gather the stockpile goods. And then we have this assign work heroes. Let's make sure that this is heroes in county list. If their activity is signed, it adds them to the possible workers list. Let's double check this thing. Possible workers add. It's pretty straightforward. That seems fine. And then it's assign people to prioritize improvement. So that's the only change we've done. And so this should still work, but it doesn't. It's got to be where we cleared the list, because remember I had it using this list twice, and I couldn't remember why I did this twice instead of just using the same possible workers list. Okay, so we have a problem here. Okay, no, this is just okay, so this is gonna. I see what's going on here. I think we're gonna need another, maybe. So this is gonna add anybody who's loyal and not unhelpful. So that creates one list, but then they're gonna create another. It's gonna add the people to the list again after this. Now my question is can you add the same thing to a C# list? Wait, is this a C# list or is this a Godot list? This is a C# list. Add same element to C# list. You can use repeat. I don't want it to be the same. So this guy, I'm going to add 50 numbers to a list, and want all those numbers to be equal to, say, 42. I'm aware that I simply created a small loop that runs 50 times, such as this. What I'm trying to do is something on the lines of add this. No. This isn't what I want. Any J name. You know, we have a web guy at my work, and he won't touch SEO. Are you hating it, or is it? I assume that was sarcasm. Add multiple copies. I guess what we could do. I guess what we could do is test it. Because will it add the same thing? Because we don't want it to. We could check. If it's in there, we don't add it. Because that would actually solve. So at the beginning, we would have this. And then we would check. Or we could do it where we just check. We check the possible workers list and we remove the people that are what? Oh, it's going to hit them twice with this loyalty check, though. We remove the people that aren't idle. Does that still matter, though, the linking the sites thing? I wasn't sure if that still mattered. I thought that was like some old school SEO shit. So we could put it back the way it was, but I have a feeling that there's got to be a better way to do this. And easier, well, we don't loop through the list twice. So let's think about this here. We assign people to prioritize projects or to prioritize improvements. So that's going to add them to this list, and then it checks here. This list it's only checking their loyalty and if they're not, make sure that they're not unhelpful. If we do the normal find idle population, it's checking the same thing, but then it's also making sure if they're idle. This should actually work already. So the reason why this should already work, what list are we going through here? This should already work according to my thoughts here. So let's put that GD print back. Let's go back to here and here, and we're going to put a thing at the beginning of this. Prioritized. Shows authority. It's like by having more links. So is that why like Twitter they want things to link to Twitter? You know, they want people to link back to Twitter garbage. Let's run this. And we're going to see, this should run at 3 a.m., I believe. This is it, start day. Oh, this should run at 1 a.m. We're missing our icon down here for some reason. Okay, 1 a.m. has happened and we got a bug. I didn't have anything selected. We were updating everything. Why? Why would this suddenly be a problem? Let's rerun this. Feel like something weird just happened. I guess I am always clicking on, and I did add that update everything to a bunch of different spots. We don't have anything selected here. All right, so we had some other little bug here that, and I think this needs, let's go back to here. I think this generate hero panel, yeah, so wonder if we can just do this. If county data is equal to null, can we just, whoops, not nully. Can we just like return? What will that do? Yeah, no, I guess you're right. With Twitter, it's being, and everything is linked to it. I'm glad that Reddit is finally, whoops, we can't, wait, we can close this. Okay, we're still getting a bug here. This isn't setting this to null? Because this is null. What we would do then, I guess, we would say if this... Oh, wait, there's like a way we could put a question mark in here or something. Is it here? I think it's there. Let's see if that will do the trick. There's just no... You got the programming jokes. I have a friend, or some friends who are very into programming, and I try to crack programming jokes with them, but they don't think I'm funny. All right, that did something. We got past that, but I wonder if these other things we're supposed to update. Anyways, 1 o'clock has passed, so we should see nothing. Let's see. Let's double check here. Start of day is at 3 o'clock. So we got to wait till 3 o'clock for this to run. And then we should look here. We need to find Portland. Portland, where are you? Jason is loyal and is helpful. So these people, I think they're on the list twice. So that actually doesn't tell us anything. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. In C#, if you add something to a list twice, what happens? Yeah, it will appear twice. So there's a way we can do this where we don't need to. So what we're doing, just to summarize what we're doing here, we already have these. We're checking in this assign prioritize stuff. They're gonna pull the people who aren't idle. That's the whole concept here, is that they're gonna pull the people who aren't idle, and like if they're working to build something and you click prioritize on a different building, they're just gonna pull them off there and put them in there. It's gonna prioritize them to move over to there. So then after that, then it finds the idle people and adds them in like normal. It goes back through the list. Oh, that's why it went through the list twice. Okay, so then after that, we need to clear the list, but we can't clear the list if there's... Okay, so that's why we did it twice. So we needed to go... We can't just add and remove. We could remove people from the list if they're idle, from the possible workers list. We can go back and remove people, or we can clear them. That would destroy the hero concept, though. All right, so this is so we need to figure out the best way to do this, or the best way that what I think is the best way, which isn't necessarily the best thing. So we have this list. It sets this. We could clear it, or we could just create a new list that's like prioritize workers. Let's do that. It's going to skip. It's going to skip the people we want, though, which is the hero. The whole point of this is to get the hero to work. And they're not set to idle. Their activity is not idle. Their activity is work. So we have one list. We definitely want a separate list. I think that was a major mistake. I'm always trying to have like less lists and shit, and I think that was a problem this time. So let's just do a list of population data. We're going to need to save this. You know, when we work on save games. So I guess we're going to not do this. We're going to do this as a Godot. We're going to export this. We're going to have enough problems on our hands here. Because there is a small period of time when these lists could have been created. There's that two-hour period where this list could be created. And it might only need to be saved. Is it array? Yeah, I guess it is array. I was thinking it was not array. Population data. And then, see, I was trying to save lists, and it caused me prioritized workers. Prioritized. Isn't that how I spelled it? Just in case. So now we're going to have this list of prioritized workers. We'll go back to this thing. Hopefully we're not going in circles here. So then we get this. We have prioritized workers. And we're adding them. Why can't I add you? Because this is a Godot array. So we should still be able to add it. I'm missing something over. I did something weird with that. Prioritized workers. No? Am I misremembering how to add things to a Godot list? Goods? It's like sometimes my brain just stops working. Yesterday's goods. Is this a Godot collection? It is. We just did add. What's the problem here? I mean, this is wildly different, but does not contain a definition for add. What am I doing wrong? Is this the type or namespace prioritized? And am I spelling prioritized wrong? Prioritized workers dot add. No, why can't I do this? What the fuck? What is going on with my brain? How do I add an element to a Godot collections array? I mean, I work with these things all the time. You figure I would know how to do it. What is going on here? So there's probably like a typo or something. Collections, array, population data. Oh, what the fuck is this? That would be the problem there. Yes, it does. There we go. I don't know what happened there. Some auto finger muscle memory typing. So we're going to add this to the prioritized list. And we're going to, I was thinking about the hero thing. How is the hero going to work? And then we need to clear prioritized workers as well so that this doesn't keep getting added. So at the end, so we have this prioritized workers. Then we're going to go check for prioritized improvements. Actually, we'll just do it at the end of this thing. Clear prioritized workers. And then we'll create this thing. I'm thinking here. I think what we're going to want to do, prioritize workers clear. I think what we're going to want to do is have add heroes. I'm going to put it in this other spot, actually. We're going to add heroes to both prioritized workers and possible workers. All right, so then we have this, so that we did need two different lists, but I mean, it's whatever, it doesn't matter. So this should deal with the prioritized workers and people getting double added there, I think. So let's run this and see what kind of chaos that has caused. I hope this doesn't set me back by like 5 weeks, this one thing. I have a feeling that we're going to run into 900 issues. We're not, oh, I clicked on something. Well, we'll test it this way and see what happens. So that is, something has gone on here. Everyone's scavenging because there's nothing to do. We got to build a garden here. We're going to hit, what time is it? 9 a.m. There we go. We don't have any bugs. We have 4 people building. We're not testing the heroes yet. We're just making sure that this works without the heroes. And then everyone's on scavenge. I think there was like a day where that happens. But let's see. No, everyone's on scavenge still. So something is not working. So one of these things is, let's let another day pass just out of curiosity. Yeah, everyone's still on scavenge. So there's something with where we're clearing that other list. These guys should still be prioritizing. Well, nothing's clicked for prioritize. So then after this, it should go to find idle people. I wonder why there's nobody is in here is because they're all scavenging. So wonder why this wasn't a problem before. Like, why hasn't this been a problem since day one? That because they're all scavenging, so they're not set to idle. So let's go back to this. Where's our scavenging check? It's at the end down here. Why are they getting a set to... So what we need is something should have been kicking them to idle. They should all go idle for a small period of time. So this is end of day. It should go through here and make people idle. Is that how this worked before? End of day is first. Workday over for population should be making people idle. So here it is. If it's not equal to a hero, it makes them idle. And then we break out of here. So this should also be putting in a GD print of what they're doing. Man, we got a lot of those. Time to take that. That was a... That was a mistake. We got too many of those. So they are generating scavenged goods, but it's not setting them to idle. Or if it is setting them, if the population is not a hero, it sets them to idle. So then after this, well, that was for the heroes list. Well, this actually we don't want them. We do. No, that's actually right. So this goes to calculate work to goods production. Is there enough food? Occasional needs. Check if county improvements are done. And this should kick people over to idle 2. Update top bar. Update. So that should, at that point, are we missing something here? I still feel like it's the possible workers list is, well, this says it's not saved, but I don't know. So this, once again, end of day comes first. So it's going to go through, if their work day is over, it's going to have each population hit this switch. And the switch is going to say this, so we know that this is happening. And then if they're not a hero, it sets them to idle. One of the ways we can test that is by looking. Well, I got to do it slower though. We need to see. We need to get hit between 1 and 3 here. Just watching this. So they're all idle. So we're definitely getting that. So at the end of idle, now they're all scavenging. So something's happening in between here. What did I just change that fucked it all up? Assign working. So prioritize. It's a different list. We have this. It adds them to the possible workers list. And we're seeing this over here. Like, look at all these people are, I don't know where Portland is. There's so many of them. There's so many of them, Portland. Generating or scavenged, prioritize, cowlets. I'm trying to get to the new, Jesus Christ. Well, here's Portland. We can test another one. So this person is getting added to the list. This is the prioritized list, is this group. And then this is the other list. Are we clearing this wrong list? So here's they're getting added to the possible workers. This is the problem. This can't be here. This needs to be at the end of day. I think that's the problem. It's so it's setting everybody and it puts them in the possible workers list, and then it's was clearing it before, so no one's in the list. So then it goes down the list and it's like, okay, everyone scavenges. I knew that moving that thing around would be chaos. Let's check this. We should be okay. Everyone's idle. 3 o'clock. Everyone's scavenging, which is right. Why is this person? Because you're unhelpful. That's fine. Then we need to build something. And then we need to wait a day. We can speed this up to 8. They're building their garden, and these people are scavenging, which is good. Another day passes. This is done. They're all scavenging. I can't remember. I think there was like a day where they scavenge. But now it's still not, want to look at this. Yeah, it still says 0. Wonder why my clearing of the possible workers list is so touchy. Do I have this somewhere else? I mean, we looked. Did I leave Find idle population. This is making everyone idle. Let's do the check we just did a second ago. Let's slow this down to 1. And then we want to hit 1 a.m. right after 1 a.m. And yeah, everyone's idle. And then after 3, everyone's scavenging. So there's there's something. Let's look at our order of operations here. End of day comes first. Yeah, this can't be here though either. No, that is supposed to be there. Let's see. Start of day. It finds the idle population. It checks for preferred work. It checks for construction. It checks for any work. It checks for scavenging and all that. So this should be adding them all into the list again. The population, or the possible workers. I feel like I'm missing a... why is this being cleared here? Remove workers from possible workers list. So that's after they've been added. No, what we need to do, I think, did I do something here? Let's see here. So when they get added to an actual construction thing, they need to be removed from the possible workers list. Did I accidentally delete that? No, it's right here. So this adds them if they get actually assigned to a place. Is it possible that there's not enough like goods or something for the garden? Didn't we have people working at, we did have people working at garden earlier, so that it shouldn't be that, but let's do a fisher's shed. Do they actually build stuff? I mean, they must. We'll go up to 4. They'll build stuff, but they don't work on, they won't work at a place. They will not work at a place. So what about this thing, other thing I added? What does this thing do? That's the only thing I added, and that shouldn't affect anything, but let's comment it out just for real quick. There's something dumb going on. Once again. This is gonna be one of those things where where I struggle with a bug for 3 hours. I was just curious if we start this. So the building works. Why would building work but the other stuff not work? See, now it works. This is a what do they call that? A reversion. Reversion? Where if you start off, if the first day, if you do it, I think, so that, that worked right there, but we're going to run it like this. We're going to let a day pass. Then we're going to construct a fisher's shed. It's possible maybe just nobody wants to work at the garden. Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe it's not getting enough of whatever it needs. One more day here for the... So they'll work at the fisher's shed. Maybe there's not enough stockpile goods at the garden. I don't remember what we were... Oh yeah, it needs 1,000 wood. So no one's going to work at the garden. So the problem isn't this. The problem is that there's no one's going to work at the garden until they get 2,000 wood. That must have been for some other testing, and I was just fucking myself here. Running in circles when it would have worked this whole time. Let's go for another day and make sure. All right, so that's fine. Let's put this back, because maybe this is having some effect. Because it suddenly worked after I commented that out. So we'll test it again. I gotta remember. Chat, remember for me. Garden, no one will work at a garden. Fisher's shed, construct. They're all idle at this point because there's that 1 through 3 period where everyone should be idle. And now they should be, they should be building. And they all are building. He is not. Oh, because we didn't assign him anything yet. Let's speed this up. And then they're all working at the Fisher's shed. All right, let's just click this. This says work, but it doesn't matter. Now what happens? He's scavenging, and we got a debug here. It breaks check enough goods, which is kind of interesting. I wonder if that would have broken regardless, though. Wait, I think it's the order. Stay start. Workday over. So we assign the hero, and it's trying to do workday over for him. So it happens after start goods, right? What time is it? 10 o'clock? Well, that's not actually going to tell us anything. I don't remember what time I started it. Let's do it again. I like to just keep restarting the game over and over again. That's the joy of my life here. One day this is not going to work, which is why we need that save thing to work. So let's build our Fisher's shed. Let's set this guy to build. Let's run this. Oh, it happened at 1 a.m., I'm pretty sure. So why does this croak out? Because we must be checking. Why do we have this population data in here? So we have. I wonder if we should just stick. I've been avoiding it for no apparent reason, but we could stick an int and it would tell us where this county improvement is. Currently, it doesn't. The county improvement doesn't know where it is. But we could easily do that, and we have a method I wrote where we return where it is. So, and we're passing this population data in just for this. Is that for real? Just so I can have this GD print? I have a hard time believing that, but it looks like it is. It will tell us right here. Yeah, now this isn't used. So what does this thing do? County improvement data, county stockpile goods is the stockpile amount. So what runs this thing? So this is for activity work. And this is under workday over for population. County, okay, so this is the problem. When we assign that, when we click the button to make the hero's activity work, it doesn't know where he's going to work. And it actually won't know until after this runs. So what we need to do is like put a check for just like put a. I think we can just go like we'll just do this. If the hero hasn't been assigned a current county improvement yet, get out of here. So we'll say if population data is equal to null. Should we double check this and make sure it's a hero that's doing this? What do we do here? We break. So if the population data's current county improvement is equal to null, we break the fuck out of here. And that will happen with the heroes because the hero hasn't, it hits that first before. So if we set the, like right now, if we set this construction thing and click this button right here, it's now he's assigned the activity of work, but he actually hasn't been assigned a building yet because it hasn't got to start of day yet, because start of day comes after end of day. So let's see if we can get around this bug now. We haven't got it yet. Now we got this. And now he's working, build the Fisher shed, and there's 5 people working, which is right. So because he was added to the possible workers list, I think, at some point. Must have been because it worked. When did we do that? I thought I took that out. Assign working heroes. Add population. Okay. So we do it there. And it's going to clear the list, though. It's going to clear the list at the end of the, after they've done their work. And so then when it goes back through here, it's going to go through this list and it's going to assign them if their activities work because you as the player, Okay, I think I was just in the wrong. No, something was weird. Oh, you know what happened? Is that gets turned off because they are set to idle for a brief period of time. From 1 to 3. But no, it shouldn't set him to idle. It should skip them. But that was under build. Let's look if we have that under... check for idle, check for preferred work. I don't know if this shit's working, but I think that's going to be at end of day, work day over. So for build, we have apply work per person. Where does this shit set them to idle? Because we need to make it so that the heroes do not get set to idle. Work day over, calculate work goods, is there enough food, check if it's got to be in here, right? So this is that switch. So for work, it shouldn't, is a hero, keep working in improvement is where it checks to make them idle or not. This shouldn't apply here, but what about build? How do we do build? Something's setting them idle. It's probably when this is set to complete. This is a fucking labyrinth, man. Check if this is complete. Sure enough, there it is. So the worker, the guy worked on there. I think. Joker, how's it going? It works, but not in the way we want it to. This is only checking the population at... Oh, no. That would check because the hero's there. So we want... Am I rich yet? We were just talking about getting rich on video games. Well, we were talking about free games having like a stigma to them that they're shovelware garbage. If population data dot is hero is not equal to true, then do this crap. Else. We want to set this to null, but we want also, I think we want this to be work. Because if they're hitting this construction thing, it's weird that we did this in different spots, but I guess that's the way we did it. That's the way we did it. I saw you were streaming last night, Joker, and I didn't have time to drop in. I think it was last night or yesterday or something. I don't know. How did your stream go? Kicking ass? Taking names of monsters? I don't know. I don't know enough about that game. I assume you were still streaming the Dragoon game. All right, let's put him on build. Once again, these both set him to work. Why is that working at all then? If they're set on work, he shouldn't build. And maybe he doesn't. But he is on the possible workers list. Yeah, he's not building because he's not idle. That happens in games. Where that definitely happens in games a lot. All right, so this is the problem. This is the problem. We need to do this in a certain way. So back to this. We have this go through here. We can check build. There was I can't remember why, like 10 minutes ago, I was saying we would make these both do the same thing. Right here, what was the reasoning behind this? I can't remember. Whoops, build. It literally was like an hour ago. What's the name of that game? It's Dragoon something, but that's all I can remember. So let's county improvement. It will come to me once I've clicked this button and we have an issue. We don't have an issue there. We don't have an issue there. He doesn't get assigned. Okay, so why doesn't he get assigned? He's been added. So if we have him, where's my thing here? Assign working heroes. If their activity equals work, I mean, we can just go. It's not gonna. The confusion is gonna be for the Legend of Dragoon. Yeah. The issue isn't gonna be that. It's gonna be for the player because how we have this set up is the population doesn't actually care. Well, they don't. I mean, they're a computer program. They don't have any feelings, but the population doesn't care if there's no differentiating between working and building and how it looks through stuff. It just looks through. It puts them all on the same list, and then hey, if there's building that needs to be done, it assigns them to the building, and if there's work that needs to be done, it assigns them to the work, depending. But with heroes, it does matter, but that's only the player. But if we tell it the wrong thing, this comes up wrong, and it doesn't get assigned correctly. So we can go back to putting it as work, but then work, we would have to know if the building's complete and they're set to work. He did get, let's go back to this. He did get assigned to building, I think. No, he's not going to ever get assigned to building, though, if he's set to work. Let me think about this for a second. No, we don't need to think about this. We just need to make it happen. No thoughts need to be involved in this process. We go back to this complete work thing. Yeah, there's no brain activity. That's too much. It causes you like to sweat inside your brain, and we don't want that. Let's go. This is where we need to be. We need to go to this thing wherever it went, and we're gonna check that. We're gonna put this back to work. But then when this so this is the problem. So we could set up a getter setter that puts them in the back because they're not going to be in the possible workers list. Is that how this works? Start of day. Well, that's going to put them out for a day. No, it won't. If this equals work, it puts it back in. All right. So let's see. So we can't check the build box. We could. We're going to put that back too, actually. We're going to put this, and this is going to go to work. What was the problem this was causing? I've already forgotten. I'm going to take a quick break, though, in a second here. After we rerun this and we have our issues. He wasn't building, I think, was the problem when we set him to build. He'll be in the list, though. All right, so 1 o'clock has passed. He's set to work. We should hit at 3 o'clock. Something should happen. He's building it. So then what happens after, like the next day when it's done? Was this working and I just wanted to fuck with it? Because I used my brain? Let's see if I can hit 1. Okay, 1 o'clock. He's set to work. 3 o'clock. That's the wrong button. And he's working. Inside, so I swear that like the cartoons where like heat's coming off the person's head. Does using your brain make you warmer? Yes, to a very small degree. Using your brain can make you slightly warmer because increased brain activity generates a tiny amount of heat. Although this is usually not noticeable and is tightly regulated by the body's temperature control mechanisms. Yeah, you think too much and your brain boils? That'd be a bummer. Okay, so what happens if we let it run more? Does he stop? What is he doing? Oh, I know the problem. Oh, look, it kicked him to scavenging because why? All right, we have other problems. The problem that I needed to fix was clicking away. These things were updating, so there would be a brief period where like he's idle, but it actually wouldn't. But it would. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break and I'll be back in less than 5 minutes. Let me throw out my break timer, and let me pause my music. I actually want to skip this song too that you guys can't hear. We'll go back to this. All right, I will see you in a couple minutes. All right, I'm back. I think that was a longer break than usual. Let me see. I had to take a piss. Yeah, I ran out of break time. Damn, dude. All right, what the fuck were we doing here? So these two buttons are going to do the same thing. Why did it kick him to scavenging, though? There was still work to be done. I wonder if it will change. It should. He'll probably be stuck on scavenging forever, I would assume. Yeah. I wonder why it kicked him to scavenging. It didn't happen right away. I didn't check that box. I don't think I did. Let's test it again. It's always, you got to make it happen twice or it doesn't matter, right? That's how I deal with my day job. People complain about something, and if it's the first time, I just kind of ignore them. Because I've found that most of the time it doesn't matter. All right, we're gonna build. Let's let this thing be constructed. We'll leave this guy in scavenge for one day until this is constructed. I know I'm doing it differently now. We're not really testing the same thing. This has been constructed. We'll set him on work. We'll watch this carefully. We're not clicking anything. Okay, and then he kicked over. I wonder if it has something to do with this research. Oh, look, someone took his spot. Eventually. So there's something is kicking him over. Let's look at work. Maybe there's a thing in work that is checking workday over for population. We already looked at this, I thought. If it's not the... Okay, so build... It's weird that there's no... there's no things that set to idle. Unless there's something like down here where it's checking a skill and it sets them to idle. It doesn't look like it. That would be terrible if I had done that to myself. Workday over for population. Apply work per person. There's no idle in here. Check with skill check. There's no, I'm searching with my eyes though, and you know how I feel about that. Maybe you don't. It's terrible. Calculate work goods to production. There shouldn't be any setting to idle. Where does it kick the population? Is there enough food? Occasional needs. Check if improvement is done. We already know that this isn't kicking them over to idle though. So it sets this complete. Clear the building. Move county improvements to completed list. We know they worked there for like a day. So when something is happening, update the bar, update county available, clear the county possible workers list. So that's the end of this. Then we're going to go to start day. So we have this, and it should, if their activity equals work. Something in here has to be setting them back. So it's going to happen. I mean, does this change anything to idle? This is a lot of stuff in here. So let's go back to this prioritize. Maybe on the prioritize. We don't have them being added to that list though. Yet. We got to do that. I wonder if this has something. It's checking heroes or something. No. At least I didn't. Workday over. It's got to be in here, right? Maybe at the very end it does something. This is only it. No, we'll leave that in there. This includes heroes that are idle. So if they sit around on their ass all the time, we don't have research working because we're waiting to fix something before that. So here's work. Wait, was I looking at the... Okay, what does this do? Oh, no, we already know that that's not... So build seems to work where it kicks over. Is it? Wait. I'm pretty sure they work for 1 day. So I was looking at the wrong spot. I was looking at build when I should have been looking at work. It's a lot of re-looking at things today. I don't think I have any water either. Oh, I do have a little bit of water. So let's do a county improvement. It's got to be the Fisher Shed. Otherwise, we're going to have bugs that are unnecessary. We'll put them on build. He's kicked over, and look, it's disabled, though. We're going to have to change that because he's building something. But it has kicked over. And he's building the Fisher Shed, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like I looked and I was like, that's 5, but I better count it just in case. And then he's working there. And that lit up the right thing. And then it happens in the... No, he's still working there. Look at that. That's interesting. Now, all of a sudden, he's scavenging. And it's at 1 a.m. So we know at 1 a.m. At 1 a.m., end of day works. So we know it's in here. It's got to be this somewhere in the first day that in here somewhere. Check if enough goods, deduct the goods, apply work per person. What do you do? We've already looked at this apply work per person like 45 times. So then back to here, back to work. Okay, so then at the end, check learn. It's got to be like in check learning or something. It's not though. The other thing we could look for, I suppose, is we could search for, you know, activity idle. Check if county improvement is done. I mean, I haven't been, maybe it's in here. We could search for idle. Once again, I'm searching with my eyes, which we know that that's dog shit. I guess we could check in here, make sure it's not making people idle. I don't think it does. I think we're gonna have to search for update activity idle. It's probably in here though. Except it's setting them to work here. Okay, all right. So we know that it's setting them to work here. So this is so the first time it happens from building to work, it's actually changing over. It's actually so okay. So the first we know that it happens at 1 a.m. and when it gets to this, when it's building, it actually is updating this activity to work, and that's why the first day it works, and then the second day he stops working there. So it's got to be between here and here. So we know that. These two really shouldn't have any things. Like, is there check for healing? Has some sort of... No. I mean, that would be ridiculous, but decide, let's check this. Maybe there's some sort of idle thing in here. Well, we have it is if the county is a player based, because that's just for the AI, which we're going to work on at some other point too. Back to this. It's got to be maybe count. No, let's look at this again. We've done it 5 fucking times, but let's look at it again. Their activity is going to be work. It checks if there's enough goods. It applies the work. It checks the skill. Keep working in improvement. It's not going to do this. See, there's got to be something. We just got to do it. We got to look for maybe weights. No, this should apply with the hero, the keep working in improvement thing. Use a loyal check to see if the person wants to keep working in the improvement. If it's a skill check, so it's pure. Then it does another check to see if the person employed is but idle. And yeah. I mean, we could also put in like here if this else the hero's activity equals work, but I want to know what's changing it. If there's enough goods, we apply, we check. Days employed but idle. Check enough goods. If there isn't enough goods, does it make them idle? Nope. All right, we're gonna have to do a search here. The reason I was avoiding it was because we're gonna have this is what we're gonna want to search for. This whole thing. What am I doing here? F. If it's not a hero, it sets him idle. Okay, what is all this crap? This is in movement. We don't care. You're telling me that there's like nothing? That's movement. That's movement. That's commented out. It's not, they're not being, that's the only, maybe I have some weird like population data dot activity equals all enums dot activities dot idle somewhere. We don't want this stuff. It is not finding anything. Let's get rid of this because we shouldn't use this anymore. Activities. Activity. Is that what we call this thing? Activity. Activity equals. Count idle workers. Assign workers to county improvement. What is this? Sorts assign sorted workers if there's room. This is removed from any possible county improvement they're assigned to. It updates their activity to activity. Where do we get activity? Okay, so their activity could be either build or work. There's another way we can look for this too. We could put in, trying to think where we have a process somewhere. Player controls, I think we do. So if we, no, we just have input events. There's no process in here. The clock has process in it. Let's go to our clock. The camera does too. We use the camera. And then we would say if globals.instance faction player faction leader faction leader is not equal to null. GD prints. This is gonna fill up. This is gonna fill up our logs. Our logs are gonna implode. Faction leader, because we know it's the faction leader. We're gonna put a $sign here. Actually, it doesn't even matter. We're gonna do this activity. Now, I believe what's gonna happen is that we should fill up our logs with what this guy's activities are. It might overflood the logs though, so that could be a problem. I feel like there's no easy way to say like, do this every once in a while. So he's idle. Let's do this. We're gonna construct our Fisher shed. And then we're gonna set him on build, and now it's setting him to work. We're gonna run this. Now we set it to scavenge. It says over here that he's set to work, but he's not. He's set to scavenge. What caused that right off the bat? He didn't even finish building that thing. That was weird. That was different. Did I change anything since last time? I don't think I did. He immediately got kicked over to scavenging. Construct this. He didn't even, so he should be set to build or work right now. We haven't clicked the button yet. We click that button. He's set to work. And it says that. And then he's immediately going to scavenging. What the fuck happened now? What in fuck's name? All right, so we have him at this point. This down here should assign working heroes. If their activity, it should assign them to the possible workers list. Like, what changed? I don't think I changed anything in between each run here. We're still. Let's stop this and let's. So I click this pretty early on. I don't know why it's checking that. It makes me worry when I see stuff that I don't remember why it should be doing that. Initial storage, work. With all this crap here, it's very hard to tell what's going on. Kevin is a hero in the possible heroes, possible workers list. Add heroes to both prioritized and but we don't actually have that happening yet. So he's in the possible workers list. What the hell happened here? Assign people to... Was I building the Fisher shed again? Oh, I stopped it. Let's do this one more time. All I did was add the Fisher shed. I think that's all I did. We click work, and he's set to work. And it's just sitting there counting work. It shows work. We hit this. 1 o'clock, he's still on work. 3 o'clock, he's now on build. What changed? What changed? And it actually kicked this over to here, but that's a different, we can update that later. So he's on build. What changed between these two things? Was I building the garden? No, the garden still should be able to be built. This is too slow. Let's double the speed. I click 2. It's on 2, it says. It feels like it's going really fast. All right, so now it's kicked over to work because this is completed. Everyone's idle because we're at 1 o'clock. 3 o'clock, he's still on work. Scavenging, everyone else is scavenging. So then we're going to wait, and then he's going to get kicked over to idle. No, he's still on work at this point. And then he gets, so at 3 o'clock, he's getting kicked over to scavenge. So at 3 o'clock, he's getting kicked over to scavenge. So that is start of day where we are looking at all of these things. What would be kicking him over to scavenging at this point? His activity up to that point was work. Assign people to prioritize list. This is not checking... This shouldn't check anything right now. Let me comment this out. It shouldn't actually do anything yet. And then it's finding idle population, but this is not checking the hero list. This is only checking the... I thought I had narrowed it down on the other part, but this is saying differently. And it seems to be, it seems to be happening differently. Check for preferred work. So then this is going through the possible things. And it updates it to work if they're put in here. The hero should already be on that. Check for construction. Check for any work. It's updating their activity to work. I remember searching for this one other time with the scavenging thing. It's like setting them to scavenge. It sets them to... Maybe we're not removing them from the possible workers list correctly. Because that was a problem before where the people weren't getting removed from the possible workers list. So even though they were getting... But it works for like a day. For a second there, I thought we were done with this. This is literally 3 hours of pain in my ass. And then sometimes it doesn't work at all. Let's do construct. Maybe I was building the garden. We click this, it sets him on work. 3 o'clock, he's now at scavenge. This time it operated differently. He should get applied first. I was curious if like their preferred work or something was happening. So this one, it immediately kicked him to scavenging. And I don't think I did anything different. Let's see if he ever changes. We can speed this up to 8. Yeah, he shouldn't ever go to scavenging unless you select for him to go to scavenging. I wonder if it's something to do with this updating. No, because the activity is being changed. We aren't clicking anything. So he's probably still in the list, but why wouldn't it happen twice? Like the same every time. Something else is happening here. So he gets added to the list. So at this point in start of day, he's already, no, he gets assigned right here to the work, to equal work. And he gets add population to the possible workers list. So every day he's getting assigned right here. It's not going to add him again because he's already, and we're clearing this thing here. So he's not getting added there. And then it's going to check for preferred work. Did I comment that one thing out? Because it's obviously not, it's something else going on here. Check for preferred work. And so if it finds his preferred work, it's going to do that, and it removes him from the list. Workers to remove. So this is wait. Check for, yes. So this is the first time we're going to be making sure if the workers are full is false, and if this equals their preferred work, maybe he was hitting preferred work. It sets their activity to work, which he would already have been. It updates his work location, and then it adds them to this, and they get removed from the list. This is at the end of the checking for the possible, so that he would be removed from the possible workers list at that point for that day. So that's if he hits the preferred work thing. So then if we assign, we check for construction. So it goes through any of them in under construction. It goes through and it says if they have either one of these, you know, we can just get rid of build and have work be the thing for all of them. But if this is under construction, it's setting it's taking the remaining, this is a little bit weird because ChatGPT did it, but we just want to make sure. After all this garbage, it updates their work locations, it adds them to this, and they're being removed from the possible workers list because we want to make sure that's the thing here. Then we're to check to any work. So at this point, the hero should be working. Did we check? Yeah, we're checking the possible workers list because he's on that list. So then we go through every county improvement. If the county improvement needs workers, and if their stockpile is something. Then it goes through the possible workers, check if it's full. And it should update his activity to work. And this is in the right spot where we remove him. Then we check for scavenging food. If there's, yeah, we don't care about that. We update their activity. And then we remove them from the possible workers list. So at this point, he shouldn't be on there because he should be. We aren't running it. I was thinking maybe. So at this point, he actually wasn't getting. Let's double check this one thing. All right, these are both set to work. This is surprisingly painful. And then this is scavenge remnants, so it'd be the same thing, except that they're going to set that to null. Set that to null. And then it discounts the idle workers. If that equals, and then that gets added on there. We're only counting the population. We're going to have to fix that. Update work location. So why is it different sometimes? That's the weird thing. It's unreliable of when this happens. Like maybe he's only getting preferred work. I thought I narrowed that thing down, but I guess I was wrong. I think yesterday I was saying that I don't usually run into bugs that hold me up for 3 hours, but here we are. So Fisher's Shed. We click build, which actually sets them to work. We wait till 1 a.m. We're still on work. Now my question is, doesn't look like it did. I was going to say, did it flash something else for a second? So then at 3 a.m., now he's on build this time. And there's 5 people building. And then his day's going. I'm trying to keep an eye on this while I watch the time. It's not working. Okay, so he's still on work at this point. What is this person's name? Michael Bennett. Let's make sure that there's no weird, like... Michael Bennett here. So this is when he's being removed from the county improvement, I think. So there he is on the possible workers list. And it's checked all that. We could probably get rid of all those things. So at this point, he's still on work. God damn it. Now he's on work again. At 3 o'clock. I wonder if he's not prioritized. Or, you know, it does check to see if he's shitty at it, and then it might take him off the list if he was too shitty. Maybe that's what's going on. Okay, so this time it kicked him into scavenge on day whatever. And look, there's a missing person too. I wonder why it's kicking him over to scavenge. It shouldn't do a loyalty check on him. I mean, there's a way we could try to, like, force it. We could also save, like, what he did the day before and make him always do that at the end of the day. But the problem with that is we do want him to go idle at times. We don't want him to ever go scavenging unless he's actually scavenging. Unless you actually tell him to scavenge. Maybe there's a better way to do this whole process, is like write a separate thing. Now, I think we want this to work with all So then if the only time he's getting assigned to this, I bet you he's not generating. So like, let's check for scavenged food. He's not going to be on that list. He wouldn't be on here because they would have removed him. So I bet you he's not actually generating scavenged stuff. It's just saying scavenged. The other thing we could do, well, actually, I don't think it kicks to anything else. I think it's going straight from work to, there's work, there's work. Um, Here's work. What's his name? Michael Bennett. I was thinking maybe we moved on to a different person. Another restart. So we gotta go. Michael has been added to the possible workers list. So he's on work. And there's work for him to do. Maybe we need to prioritize that the hero is always assigned first. Maybe these other people are being assigned to the work because they have like higher skills or something. So what would his work is fishing? Yeah, see he has dog shit fishing skill. This person also has dog shit fishing skill though. So we need to prioritize maybe the heroes. How the hero is put on the list. So the hero always is put on the list for like always when you say for them to work. We also need to make this so that they're only shows what you check. So he's checked to work, but so I bet you if I click away and come back though, it's gonna update to it is, yeah. We don't have that thing set to update. So what happens if I force him back to work? Like at the next day, does he actually work? Or does it kick him over to scavenge again? It kicks him over to scavenge again. And if we click away and come back. So every day does it do that? Yeah. There's only 4 people on there. I wonder maybe what kind of inputs does this thing need? 5 wood. And we have 5 wood. So nothing weird happening there. So it's like it's kicking him out, but it's also not replacing him with another person. It should replace him with another person if he's scavenging. So you know what's happening is it has to probably, well, we haven't seen that indication of that though. I was going to say maybe it's setting him to work. Something is keeping him out of the work is what's happening. And so it's not going idle. It's going that it's, and it could be his shitty skill, but if it's his shitty skill, then this guy shouldn't be working either. Let's run it again and pay attention to his skill level. We could also cheat and tell him. And if that's the case, then we need to adjust how skills work. We gotta construct something. Not that. And then we're gonna go build, and we'll see if he. Let's look at his skill. Fish 19. So there's plenty of people with lower fish skills. He should construct here. Maybe that's part of it too, is the construction skill. Oh, he's got a 5. But it says he's working. Okay, and then it kicks him over to scavenge. I bet you there's a thing that is because his skill is so low, like he's not doing construction right now. So there's a place where we were checking that. Where was that? Where we like, if their skill is low, we just got them at. We didn't do it. And so then he would just be stuck on scavenging. Does this sort the list? We were sorting the list in. No, it was that weird take thing. Check for preferred work. Check for construction. Assign workers to. So it's somewhere in here where we were sorting lists. Yeah, so we're checking their construction skill or their work, depending on what they were doing, it's checking these two skills. Sort possible workers by skill. And this is like that slot thing. So because ChatGPT wrote this, I am not like 100% comfortable with how it works. You know, like if I wrote it, I'd be like, oh yeah, take, that means whatever. Assign sorted workers if there's room. This is removing them from any possible county improvement that they were assigned to. Remove from county improvement. Update their activity. Update their work location. Workers to remove from possible workers. So why do we, I guess this like bounces them around a little bit. How much time do I have? 7 minutes. I'm going to ask ChatGPT a question here. If the population data is hero equals true, we always want them to be assigned to work, regardless of their skill level. What is going on with me not being able to type in here all of a sudden? And then we do that. You can separate the logic for assigning heroes from the general workers. Oh, but you were going to break two things, maybe. Like, what is it? Like, this stuff to me does not feel good at all. Like, this doesn't mean shit to me. This PD population data, I assume, is hero. So we have heroes and non-heroes. So we'll copy this. So this is you know, there's been a lot of talk about, I read the indie game developer subreddit, and there's been a lot of talk about using ChatGPT and how you don't learn anything if you use ChatGPT. That's like a major argument. And I don't agree with that argument. I think AI is terrible, by the way. I was going to start out with that. AI is going to be a terrible disaster for our existence unless we have like UBI or something. Unless we go like Star Trek style and have like some sort, everyone just gets to live. But back to the ChatGPT. So I think what's happening is there's developers. So there's a thing with developers, and a lot of developers like to like kind of gatekeep developing, like that. You know, you can't do it. It's a special skill that only smart people can learn, and I don't think it's true. I think there's definitely some people who can't develop, but they're probably having problems surviving just in general. But a person with basic problem-solving skills can develop, learn how to program. Might be more difficult, whatever. So I think that's one of the things. They're coming from this, like, it makes them feel superior. This is like a whole IT thing. IT guys love to feel superior about how they're the smarter than you and they know more about computers than you. It's like a constant thing that you got to fight against. and which is why no one wants to contact IT, because like IT is some asshole who's just gonna, oh, why don't you know this? Um, so, anyways, what I hear in there is the same thing. Like, well, we're so smart. Chat GPT can't help you. You got to do it the hard way. Like I learned when I was a kid, they made me use a fucking chisel to chip out the code of a stone, and you got to do it the same way. And I hear that a lot. And one of the things that they say is that you're not learning anything, you're just copying and pasting code. I agree to a point that you're not going to learn anything if I was just to copy to paste this code. I'm not learning shit. But when this starts bugging out, ChatGPT isn't really going to help me. I'm going to have to figure out why it's bugging out. And that's when you learn a bunch. And I think that's the thing that they're missing, is that ChatGPT is not going to get it right. You're going to learn. I'm going to learn what all this crap means, during that process of me debugging this, because it's going to at some point make a disaster. And I use pathfinding a lot as an example, because on my other game, I had ChatGPT work with me to do pathfinding, and it was the biggest nightmare. It should have been so simple, and it was the biggest nightmare, and I learned so much about pathfinding. And I think it's basically like hiding your head in the sand. They're saying, no, ChatGPT can't help you. No AI can help you. And so they're hiding their head in the sand, while in reality it's coming. And there's like, what we should be doing is, throwing bricks and Molotov cocktails, but we won't. And, I didn't say that. So let's rerun this and see what this weird thing does. And then I'm going to call it a day. Come on. All right, he's idle. We're going to construct. Not that. Did you see how I was just like, I was just drawn? We're going to set him on build, which is work right now. He's still on work. He's now on build, which is what we want. We got 5 people building. We got to speed this up, because I'm going to call it a day in a second here. He's now set to work, and he's working. Out, and then he's back to scavenging. His fish is 32. His construction was 3. And see, the thing is, it's saying he's scavenging, but I don't think he's actually scavenging. I don't think he's generating anything. We could run it and see if there's like a flash of... We need to slow this down when it gets close to... We'll figure this out. It's always something. I don't think it's flashing work, though. I think he's stuck on scavenging. Because he shouldn't, he shouldn't be... This is only applying if his thing's set to work. And the player can select scavenge. If you want him to scavenge, he's going to scavenge. But nothing should be changing his thing to scavenge. And this has happened one other time where we were looking for scavenging. All activities scavenge. This has happened in the past where everyone was getting kicked over to scavenge. And it was because I don't think they were being removed from the list. He wouldn't be on the list at that point, though. I guess he would. If he's not getting assigned to anything else, he would still be on this list. For some reason, if he's not getting any of this stuff. This would be a good time to learn how to do the breakpoints or whatever. I wonder if there's something in here where it thinks that it's full. We checked all these. The other thing we could check, I'm going to call it a day here in a second, but the other thing we could check is like the possible workers list to make sure it's getting cleared. But like I said, I don't think he's actually scavenging. Why do I not think that? Why do I think that? Because we don't have anything that would... There's something weird going on. Let's double check. I got to call it a day here, though. Wonder if it's something else like where we're checking to see, you know, for this hero panel. This is supposed to populate depending on... This deselects them. It's supposed to populate depending on his activity. Assign building, research checkbox toggled. Add population, assign building, county improvement. Are we using that? I don't think we are, yeah. And this shouldn't be anything either, all right. Spawn, that's a whole nother. Deselect all, on pressed. It's like update. It's like the top bar update. We also used to have some other logic that set heroes to scavenge. I wonder if there's like something else. Active. I think we already checked this though. We can just copy this over. I don't really want to leave this terrible bug for tomorrow, or for next weekend, I mean. But a lot of times I notice if I like go away and come back, I give it a break for a couple of days, I immediately can think of the answer to the problem. Like, oh yeah, there's a thing that does this, and it... Like, I wonder if in here it says like, oh yeah, if this is, you know, set to scavenge. So these are the populate activity hitboxes. This sets these things. I think maybe there's a bug in there, but that looks pretty self-explanatory. What is this thing? So they get some sort of low tier research from that. I don't... That's for skill checks. This happened before with the whole population. They'd all get set to scavenge, and it was because of this list. It was the remove workers from possible list. It wasn't removing, or we didn't have it in the right spot. So what was happening is they would be on there for too long. I don't think that's the case this time. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding how the logic is working. Find idle population. Yeah, so it should completely skip him at this point, and he should already be on the list. That one, that shouldn't matter. So this is in kind of a weird spot. Wonder why we have that there. All right, I'm calling it a day. Why is this here? Let's push this code. Stuck on heroes always being stuck on scavenging. And then we will save this, we will commit, and we will push the code. And that is it for me today. I will see you guys next week, and maybe offline I'll try to fix this bug, just because it is a grind. When I get stuck like this, it's kind of frustrating, you know, to go the next weekend to work on it too. Usually though, it doesn't take that long, because like I said, a fresh set of eyes. He should already be on the earth. Fresh eyes, not a new set of them, but just fresh eyes on the same thing. But that's it for me. Thank you guys for joining me. I will talk to you next week.